Okay, we're gonna make some pork chops with onion gravy tonight. That is what my husband wanted for his Father's Day dinner. So I've got my pork chops here. They've already been kind of trimmed up, and I've used a paper towel to pat them dry, get them cleaned up a little bit, and then I'm gonna add some seasonings. Here's my bowl of seasonings. These are the seasonings that I use. Some garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, some Slap Your Mama, and some sage. Again, I measure with my heart, so I couldn't tell you exactly what those measurements are, but that's what we're going to go ahead and use to season the front and back of our pork chops. And these are just boneless chops. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything seasoned up really good. All right, I have my cast iron skillet. It's been getting hot, so I put some olive oil in there, and now I'm just going to go ahead and put in my, oops, might want to help if I actually aim the camera properly. And I'm going to put in my pork chops that have been seasoned. Ooh, it's hot. I did have to turn the heat down a little bit. So I'm going to cook these for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side. I'm not going to worry too much if they get completely done because they are going to go in the oven. I just want to get a nice crust on each side. Okay, once I start getting a good sear on all sides, then I'm going to go ahead and remove them from my pan and to another dish, and we're going to keep them covered so we can make our onion gravy. Okay, so my pork chops have a nice sear on them. I went ahead and deglazed my pan a little bit with some beef broth, and now I'm going to throw in about 2 tablespoons of butter, and once that melts down, we're going to toss in some chopped up onion, and then we're going to let the onions get nice and tender. Okay, my onions have cooked down. They've got nice and tender, so now I've got about I actually added a little bit more butter, so it's a total of 3 tablespoons, and then I've got 3 tablespoons of flour that I'm adding in. And basically I'm just gonna make, I guess, a roux. And again, my heat is on low because I do not want to burn my butter or my flour. So I'm just gonna mix this around. And I'm going to cook this for a few minutes just to get it nice, make sure everything's nice and coated, and because we want to get all that flavor in this gravy from the bits and pieces that were in the bottom where we cooked our pork chops. We want all of that flavor in here. Now, as I've let this cook a little bit more, I'm going to add some more seasoning in here. Not all of it, but I am adding some. This is just blooming the seasoning, just trying to open those flavors up a little bit before I start adding in my beef broth. Okay, we're going to slowly start adding in beef broth, or you can use chicken broth, and as we do this, we're going to whisk while we're doing it. This will help keep clumps, and I really don't like metal on metal, but I don't have a silicone whisk, so we're just going to use this one. Silicone would definitely help in this, but just a little at a time. And I'm probably going to end up going with 2 cans of beef broth. I don't have a carton, I just had some cans of it, so that's what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to go ahead and start making this gravy, and it'll thicken up as you're doing this. So just keep adding until it's as thin or as thick as you want. Okay, so I did use roughly 1.5 cans of beef broth. How much you use is really going to be dependent on how thick you want your gravy. And I'm going to go ahead and start adding my pork chops back into the gravy. So we're just going to do that. And then what we're going to do is put this entire pan, and I'm actually going to make sure everything's covered before I do this, but we're going to put the entire pan into a 375-degree oven for about an hour. I want these to be fork tender, so I'm going to give it about an hour. It may take a little bit longer. I am going to cover it with aluminum foil when I do this. So during probably the last 15 minutes of the cooking, I will probably take the aluminum foil off. We'll just see how it goes. Pork chops are done. I served them up with black-eyed peas and mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes are a little runny because we added just a little too much milk to them, but that's okay, it happens. So I've actually already started nibbling on my pork chops, but as you can see, I can cut them with my fork. So anyways, I just wanted you to see what they look like when they were completed. So I hope you enjoy. Here's my husband. He's already digging into them.
They're very good.